What's good, sports fans? This is Philly Phil with the review for WWE Battleground, and I have a special guest with me from World of Wrestling. Why don't you introduce yourself, kind sir?
I'm from World of Wrestling. You guys know me as Bruce, and I also go by my other split personality, Philip the Wrestling Reviewer. But I decided not to use him today. I'm gonna
Okay,
just be
yeah,
myself.
Yeah, and anyone who hasn't checked out this Philip the Wrestling Reviewer character, it's pretty good. It reminds me of Andy Kaufman's Foreign Guy, and I always got a kick out of that. And I love Philip the Wrestling Reviewer. But anyway, you want to check this guy's channel out. It's World of Wrestling. When all this is done, I'm going to put a link in the description box so you can go visit there for yourself, and maybe even in the actual video itself. Like right about now, you could click like right there, but not when we're live. But okay. So I watched the whole show, pre-show King Barrett against R-Truth for the King's Crown on the pre-show. King Barrett was the favorite in the sports book, and he did get the victory here with the bull hammer. I thought R-Truth had a lot of good fire in the match. A good pre-show match is all I can say with that for a pre-show. What did you think, Bruce?
Me personally, I didn't really catch it. Watch the main card,
Oh,
but they
okay.
showed some few highlights of it. Um, and I thought it was okay, but I didn't really care for it. I think what they're doing to Wade Barrett is really just really shitty. I mean,
Yeah, hey,
I don't think that.
they banned the
Yeah,
word Wade. You can't call him Wade anymore. It's either got to be King Barrett or Bad News Barrett. They're banning all these words. Like they banned the word backbreaker because it suggests that the move is dangerous, which is supposed to
yeah,
be the idea. So they're gonna have to ban neck breaker and all this other stuff. But yeah, that's the deal with that. I mean, R-Truth, an entertaining cat. People want to sleep on him, say he's not that great, and they're sick of him. But at the same time, he does provide entertainment for some. He's funny some of the time. As long as he's not main event, and I'm kind of cool with that. But anyway, okay, you watch the main show. So the first match on the main show is Randy Orton against Sheamus. Really hot for Orton in his hometown at the Scott Trade Arena. Is it St. Louis? Is it? I mean, it was a good start to bring Orton out first to get them fired up.
yeah. I have to agree. I think that the match was kind of slow, but it was all right. It wasn't bad. It had some good moments, and it picked up near the end. And I like about it's kind of neat that he actually won the match
Okay. Yeah, I'll give you my
tonight.
thoughts on it now because it's doing that thing with the voice again where it sounds like a robot. When this video is done, you could check it out. So we'll figure out the
So
problem by SummerSlam anyway. We'll figure out exactly what's going on. We'll do a few more tests. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I really liked Sheamus healing it up, stalling in the beginning, some brawling on the outside. What do you think of Sheamus with the knee drop from the top rope, him doing that and hitting it well? I mean, I thought that was a good move for him. I don't remember him doing it before. I guess
yeah,
I
it was
never.
something different.
Yeah, that was a cool move, and I like that they battled with the European uppercuts, really laying it in. I expected these two guys to lay it in, and they totally
Yeah,
did, and it made the match with the crowd chanting "boo" and "yay," depending on who was doing it. And I don't know if they had it planned out to do this later with strikes and kicks and all. With the back and
yeah,
forth of like fighting spirit type deal, but it was good, and it was basically feeding up the crowd. But a good sequence with a missed brogue kick, and then uh, tried him for the RKO, the white noise for a 2 count. Uh, Randy Orton with the superplex 2 count, a DDT on the ropes, hitting all his signature stuff. But when Sheamus did a schoolboy off the RKO, I thought that could have been it because we do see finishes like that. But then again, he hits the
yeah.
the brogue kick, and he's too tired to make the pin, and he knows this. So when he does come to a clover leaf, and a good story was told, Randy Orton not being able to get to the ropes right away, and it added the drama, especially in his hometown. But then he is able to hit the RKO for the 3 count. So that's the in-depth review, like move for move, all the major spots of the
Yeah.
match. Right thing to do, especially with the heel Barrett winning on the pre-show, having Orton, the hometown babyface, pick up the victory here. But primetime players
Yeah.
against the New Day. That was the tag team championship match next. What do you think of that?
Hold on one second. Just to go back on the Sheamus thing,
Yeah, no,
I
no, no.
think
So
I think they made a bad decision on not making Roman Reigns win that Money in the Bank ladder match. Personally, because of the fact that Sheamus is the Money in the Bank holder, and you make him lose to Randy Orton. Now, it's kind of a touchy subject if you think about it, because of the fact that, like you said, they're in St. Louis, the hometown of Randy Orton. But then also, you're trying to build up Sheamus, who's carrying around the briefcase. And you'd think that with him carrying the briefcase, you want to give him some momentum going in to at the point when they decide for him to cash in to win the title, or maybe even lose for that matter. I don't know what they might do on that. You would think that they would want to go with Roman Reigns, but we'll get further into what's
yeah, that's what
going on with
everybody
Roman
thought it was
Reigns.
going to be. Roman Reigns. I follow the sports book and all that, and I won some money tonight, by the way. But anyway, yeah, I mean, he was the favorite to win the Money in the Bank, but I don't really think it would have did anything for him. I think he's kind of above that. Now, WWE notorious for having guys lose in their hometown. It didn't happen with Orton tonight. Sheamus with the Money in the Bank, like I think some of the commentators were saying that he could take a loss and he's still the Money in the Bank champ. He's still the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, so
That's true.
it could go on with that. Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it was a good match. I don't think Sheamus looked weak here. I just think Randy Orton's at the top of his game, and he doesn't want to. He can't fall too far down the card if he's the opening match. I kind of think he's got to win, but anyway, we'll see. I mean, basically every pay-per-view when Seth Rollins had the briefcase, people were speculating would he cash it in. They're not yet doing that with Sheamus. So, yeah, but we can move on. So, primetime players against the New Day. What did you think of this? I liked primetime players, their new gold and light blue tights that they had on. That was pretty nice. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. I personally think that this tag team title match was better than last month's title match because it seemed to have a lot more excitement to it. Definitely, I love the way they ended it with Titus O'Neil. They're really doing. Darren Young's kind of like along the ride with Titus O'Neil. To me, it looks like they're kind of building Titus O'Neil a bit more than Darren Young.
Yeah, I'm
Because
happy about that
yeah,
because
and I think it has a lot to do with Batista saying something about it. Because in the news, I've heard that Batista voiced his opinion what they're doing with Titus O'Neil, and he thinks it's a load of garbage because he thinks he's got plenty of talent to be in the top of the ranks in WWE.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I thought there was some kind of they had a friendship before one or the other of them got into the business, and yeah, I mean Titus O'Neil, I just think his age kind of gets in the way, but I think with the whole fatherhood thing, him winning the Celebrity Father of the Wing of the
Yeah.
Year, that kind of helped him out a lot. But yeah, I mean the finish came. I do like Darren with the gut check, and then Clash of the Titans on the Kofi
Yeah, that
for
was a
for
good
the
ending.
victory. Yeah, and one thing I liked is Big E with the splash on the apron to Darren Young. I mean, that's got to be a risky move to do because you don't got a lot of
Hmm.
space to work with. But he did it, and it happened. So, yeah, I mean, not the best match on the show, but certainly not terrible. So, yeah, that's
No.
that. And then Roman against Bray. And I thought this was really good, honestly. I mean, I hold both of these guys
Now
in
we
high
have a
regard.
different matter of opinions there.
Okay, all right.
We have some com
Oh, good, good. That's what this is about.
Um, personally, my opinion about it, it was way too freaking slow. That's my biggest complaint about Bray Wyatt. He has had his match with Undertaker. There are some people that say that Undertaker's match with Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania was great. Others would say, like I say, it was horrible. And I think it has a lot to do with Bray Wyatt. Somewhere along the line, Bray Wyatt's lost his touch. I don't know why, but he had some great matches in 2014 and leading into 2015. He's done, in my personal opinion, not a whole lot to impress me or give me the impression that he is worthy enough to be in a world title match or a world title match picture. That's just my opinion. I think a lot of the things that they're trying to do too much is have him resemble The Undertaker, which I think is absolutely ridiculous as well.
Oh yeah, the
So,
new face of fear and all that. I mean, he's been compared to the Undertaker by Jim Ross on his podcast of all people. But I mean, I see what you're saying with Bray being slow and methodical. That's not necessarily a bad thing. He worked a lot of rest holds, a lot of chin locks tonight. To me, it was a character-driven match with a good feud behind it, so I didn't mind it so much. I mean, I like Roman Reigns with the side suplexes that he was doing tonight. That Bray Wyatt, like that wacky drop that he did when and the sent onto the floor when Roman
yeah,
Reigns was going for his drop kick to the apron, just how he just dropped the guy in midair and then did the senton to the
yeah.
floor. So even though he's working slow, he still is doing devastating stuff. It's not like he's not working out there.
No, I,
I mean, Roman Reigns did the Tiger Bomb. Well, not from the top, but Bray was on the top when it had happened. 2 counts. So he's introducing new moves to his repertoire. I haven't seen him do that. He wasn't doing that 6 months ago, but he's doing it now. So
yeah,
yeah, that was pretty cool. And I mean, as far, like put it this way, I think Bray looked really good. He kicked out of the Superman punch for one, and then Roman Reigns went
yeah,
for 2 spears, and Bray was able to just kick him the first time, and it hit him with a big punch the second time. I thought that made Bray look good. It was an interesting point of the match. So even though it was slow, it really had some good moments, and the finish was good. Bray was being smart, throwing
yeah.
chairs into the ring. I guess that was meant to distract the ref, and then Roman, he just feeds right into it, and the big goof that he is, and throws even more chairs in the ring and gets super kicked by the guy in the hood. Now the ref doesn't see him because
Yeah,
he's dealing with the chairs. He's trying to clean up the mess that they made. Super kick from, it turned out to be Luke Harper, and
yeah, that kind of
systematic.
disappointed me though a little bit. It kind of did, a
Okay,
little bit
talk
because
about
of
that.
well, the reason why I thought it was a little disappointing was because of the fact that I was maybe expecting a new person to be involved in the Wyatt family. And I was expecting maybe somebody new, fresh, different, but they're kind of like doing what they said they were going to do with either the Wyatt family reuniting or the Shield. And apparently, since the Shield in the storylines has gone to the point where they're like, you know, kind of all their separate ways, doing their own storyline and build up with their own characters, they went with the Wyatt family because they got nothing going on with the other two. So they put them all together. And of course, Bray Wyatt being the leader, he was the best guy to have them all back together anyway to begin with. So,
And that's true. And Bray had said in interviews that they never broke up. He just set them free to do their own thing. But, every pay per view I'm hearing the Shield's going to get back together. And, I just think there's people out there that want to see this so bad. It's wishful thinking on their parts. But every member of the Shield is doing okay on their own. We didn't see any of Dean Ambrose tonight. I don't know what that was about. But Eric Rollins injured at the moment, and they had him and Harper back together as a tag team. So sensibly, Rowan will be part of this. As far as like a new member of the Wyatt family that we haven't seen yet, I was hearing Bo Dallas possibly, who we all know he's the real life
yeah.
brother of Bray. Were you talking like somebody new from NXT or somebody from outside?
Yeah, just really from anybody surprising. Like nobody really knows who is it gonna be or something like that. It's kind of hard to say who it would be that I would want to see on there since there's really nobody at this point in time outside of Bo Dallas, and he would fit well with them because he's brother of Bray Wyatt. But yeah, like you said, though, I mean, it's really kind of hard to figure out what kind of new guy you could add to the mix at this point outside of Bo Dallas. So I kind of understand where they were going with it, but I think maybe they could have just left it alone where it was just Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns at that point to finish the match. But overall, I didn't mind the ending whatsoever anyway.
Yeah, well, I think they want the feud to continue. I think it's been well received. I mean, in some circles, no, but I think they want it to go on to SummerSlam. Roman can't really take a clean loss, and at the same time, you couldn't have him beating Bray and have it continue. I mean, I guess you could have did all that stuff after the match, but I was happy with it, honestly. I mean, from a work rate standpoint, it wasn't
Yeah.
there, but like I said, it had its big moments in the match, and if you just showed this match in clips, people would be impressed with it. I think you would be, if you didn't see the match, I think you would like it just seeing some of the clips that I had mentioned.
Yeah,
Uh, but
there's just some. Sorry,
no,
there
no,
were. I have to agree with you though. There were some good moments here and there that got me a little into it and interested. Overall, the work up to it just in the middle of the match, I just wasn't feeling it. It kind of drew my attention away from it, and I kind of was looking online off of my cell phone and just checking out other things and
right,
waiting for
right.
something interesting that was intriguing to me, that I would find interesting to watch. And by the end, that was when it was starting to get really intriguing to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The second screen experience. That's what everybody does now. And, any form of media out there has to compete with your iPhone with that second screen, which makes it weird that the WWE got rid of theirs. Let's give a shout out to Troy Corsi. I've been wondering where you were, my friend. Thanks for watching the stream. And Thomas Servosky, who says New Day rocks. I agree. And the crowd in St. Louis, they were chanting that. But now the Divas thing. I guess they had to add this match because Ryback is hurt and they couldn't do the Intercontinental Championship match, which is a plus, honestly. Each Divas team,
Yeah.
Team Bella, Team Paige, and Team Bad all had to pick one representative to have a match, and this and ended up being Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Brie Bella. Now I've seen better matches from Sasha and Charlotte working together, or even that four-way that happened at one of the NXT takeovers.
Yeah.
But this match wasn't bad, honestly. It
No.
wasn't NXT. It's going to be different on the main roster, and hey, this is better than most Divas matches that we see, or pretty much
Yeah.
all of them. Let's be safe in the WWE. I mean, Sasha Banks, all the dives. She did a suicide dive. Charlotte doing a tope. The finish. Sasha Banks with the bank statement onto Charlotte. Brie Bella makes the save. Charlotte with the figure eight on to Brie. Brie taps out. So these new
Yeah.
divas in on the main roster look really good, and there's so many combinations of matches you could do with these three teams. It's not going to get stale anytime soon, and I would imagine they'd all be
No.
trading wins, and it's good for the divas. The Divas
True.
Revolution, it's off to a good start. I mean, what are your thoughts on the whole deal? I mean, I kind of thought that Monday night overshadowed this. This didn't really add to it or anything, but at least shows it's on the right point. Interested to see where they go from here.
My personal opinion, I felt that this match was a good start to this whole entire storyline.
Hmm.
I think it's going to build into something really good leading into SummerSlam. I think they should do like a maybe try to do to determine the winners of each team, like have three triple threat matches,
Hmm.
to figure out who would compete with Nikki Bella in a triple threat match for the Divas Championship. Since like what happened last or tonight, we see that Nikki Bella chose not to actually compete in the match. She walked away, sent her sister in instead to do her dirty work. You go ahead and you have Nikki Bella defend it against like Sasha Banks and Charlotte, or maybe just um, uh, Nikki Bella and Paige and Sasha Banks. I think it would be kind of cool if they made Sasha Banks win the Divas title and have her as a dual women's champion. I think that
Yeah.
would be pretty cool.
Well, that's what happened with Paige, right? Paige had them both.
I don't think so. I think she lost the title and
Oh,
then won the Divas title her first time uh on Monday Night Raw.
I'll have to look into that. I really wasn't into NXT at the time. I just remember that iconic photo of her holding both belts. I think that might have been the case. I think they might have had it was Natalia versus Charlotte, I think, in a tournament
Oh,
final. I could be wrong. Like I said, I was not watching NXT, and I'm sure somebody out there knows. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that's a good suggestion. Obviously, not putting Nikki in the match, because then if Bree's taking the fall anyway, why have the champion take a fall when you can keep her a little bit stronger with that? I think Charlotte was the right
Yeah.
choice to get the victory here, because Paige is the one starting this revolution, but no authority, no Steph McMahon, no Triple H, none of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, John Cena against Kevin Owens for the U.S. title, the rubber match, even though they've been, fighting on the house show circuit, tied at one apiece, this time for the U.S. title for the first time on a pay-per-view. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think that it lived up to expectations? Do you think it exceeded the other matches that they had done?
Well, everything that happened in this match was what I was looking for. It blended very well. It was exactly like the other two matches that we've seen in the last 2 months. My only issue was Kevin Owens, they should have never had him tap out. That was the biggest mistake. Neither one of them should have been tapping out to each other. I think what should have happened, if they're going to have John Cena win the match, they should have had him rolling him up in a pin, like a schoolboy pin, like that old school fashion that we usually used to see back in the day.
Yeah, once you've done everything and these guys are tired, that is a really great finish that works. I mean, I mentioned it earlier with Sheamus that he could have won with that, and then Kevin Owens himself, when he hit a cradle out of nowhere at the very end, like a small package. I thought that
Mm.
could have possibly been it. It's a flash finish, which it actually gets a bigger ovation than a tap out, than winning with a finisher. I mean, John Cena hitting the AA from the second rope. Nobody's kicked out of that before. He's done it just a couple of times. I
Yeah,
think he's done it to CM Punk. I think he's done it to Cesaro, and none of them kick out from it. So Owens was made by doing that. He kicked out of two other AAs and a lot of other stuff, like a Canadian Destroyer. He had a nice
yeah,
innovative thing at the very beginning. I mean, Owens dominated the early goings of this. He hit it was like the rack into a neck breaker, which was an innovative
yeah.
move, like really early on.
He
I
was
give him
doing
a.
that in ROH actually too.
Was
So
he? I never seen him do it in the E yet. You know what I mean? He has so many moves that he does. He can't possibly introduce them all at once. But I mean, when he's doing that senton from the top rope, Cena puts the knees up. That's got to be like a tough bump to take. Like, how do you
yeah,
take that safely? And just like so much brutality. And for the most part, they keep it in the ring the entire time. There's really nothing going on the
yeah,
outside in all their matches, and they remain entertaining. So I mean, I'm not going to say this match was better than their first one, but I will say
no,
they did step it up with some of the moves, and it being a lot harder to put Kevin Owens away, and John Cena for that matter as well. So from that standpoint, yeah, they did step it up. They did save a little bit for this match, but John Cena, he did a move that I didn't see him do before. I can't remember even what it was. He keeps adding these moves to his repertoire, which is cool. He always adds a few, I mean, but you got Kevin Owens just popping up, like not even taking the bump from the springboard stunner and hitting Cena with that clothesline. So it looks really
yeah.
resilient. I mean, he kind of had to tap out. It was a really decisive way to end the feud. I just wish he would have blown up about it and been so upset, because where does he go from here, really? I mean, does he go back to NXT? Now he has no titles.
Yeah, that's the thing. It kind of leaves, in my opinion, Kevin Owens hanging a little bit, like with nothing really to do. And they've been doing this with a lot of other guys. I mean, you look at Dean Ambrose. He was having a great build up throughout May and in June, and they just dropped him like he was nothing. I mean, it's not smart. That's another thing, that they build these guys up and then they drop them like hot potatoes. And that's not where you want to. If you're trying to build young stars into big names like a John Cena or Triple H or Rocks or Stone Cold Steve Austin's, you don't do that. Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, those are the biggest three names out of the Attitude Era, and they built those guys up. They never stopped building them. And with these guys, I don't know. I think it has a lot to do with Vince McMahon's decision making. Um, with building these guys up. It just doesn't seem accurate the way he's doing it. I mean, personally, I think, like, I know this is going a little off page and everything, but using Dean Ambrose as an example, he should have been the champion, winning that match at Elimination Chamber and then losing it to Seth Rollins at Money in the Bank, having it as a transitional championship run. Uh, that's how I feel about it. But overall, I mean, Kevin Owens at this point, really, like you said, I think he should go back to NXT, rebuild himself again, and then move him back up into the main roster. But from what I heard, he's actually part of the main roster full time.
No, he is. He's touring with them. He wrestled Cena on every single house show that him and Cena were both on. They wrestled for the U.S. title. He would always lose by DQ with a low blow just to keep it going, not to give him a decisive finish. But, I mean, he's got something with Cesaro he could do. He's got something with Rusev he could do. And even if he were to go back to NXT, and he is anyway because he's still got that rematch for the title against Finn Balor, he's bigger than he was when he came to the WWE. I mean, losing to John Cena, even tapping out to him, at this point in his career, or at least his WWE main roster career, that's definitely not a terrible thing. It does elevate him, and we'll have to wait and see. I just thought it would be better for him to hold both the NXT and the U.S. title at the same time. And on that, I got a couple people making comments. Unfortunately, I don't have a chat box in here because it's Google Hangouts, and they don't seem to want that to happen. But Cody Goins told us that Paige did have both the titles, but after she won the WWE title, JBL stripped her of the NXT title, and then Troy Corsi told us that she was a dual champ, but she never defended the Divas. She never defended the NXT Divas once she got the main Divas. So that's the truth about these guys. But okay, but now we got the main event, or the Miz and the Big Show. I'm sorry because Ryback's not there. It's not a match. Miz comes out. I think he cuts a really good promo on Ryback, saying that Ryback knew not to show up, even though he can't. He's still hospitalized and healing up. That the Big Show should retire and take the fans' advice. He backpedals when the Big Show shows up. Big Show, I don't even think he says anything. He just knockout punch and he walks right out. That was funny and effective. Didn't waste too much time.
I agree on that. I mean, personally though, I think they need to get Miz back to when he was like in 2010 to the early 2011. He was red hot. He was a believable champion, and as a world champion, I mean, and he had some pretty decent and good matches with some main event names.
Oh yeah, main event WrestleMania beats John Cena. But the roster was so thin at that point. I mean, they had to do what they had to do.
Yeah. But personally, I just think that what they're doing with Miz now, he just seems, it's like you can't really gain a whole lot of interest from him. I just feel like he's just a guy that's there earning his bread, being a mid-carder, and jobbing out to other people, and once in a while getting a decent victory and carrying the Intercontinental Championship. But other than that, he's not really done a whole lot of impressive things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, breaking up Miz and Mizdow had to happen, but neither of them are really benefited from that breakup. I mean, Miz ain't even around at the moment, or Mizdow ain't even around at the moment. Miz, I mean, he's got an interesting character. It's fine, but I mean, I never thought he should have been on that main level to begin with. But like I said, the roster was thin. They decided to try it out with him. Okay, the main event. I mean, I thought it was pretty good actually. Rollins against Lesnar. Rollins being evasive in the beginning, slipping out of the F5 a couple times. He took about 13 at least German suplexes from Lesnar, but he did get his heat in. He got a couple of kicks, which Lesnar actually sold for him. He was able to actually get Lesnar out of the ring with a knee and then hit a dive on him. He hightailed it just out of there, jumped over the barricade. Lesnar catches him. Looks like he's going to German him on the floor. Doesn't happen. He just drags him back into the ring. But this went on. I mean, eventually you knew that Rollins was going to succumb to Lesnar. He's about to hit the F5, and that's when the lights go out, gong, and there's the Taker in the ring. Seth Rollins must have rolled to the outside, and
that's where I had the biggest. That's where I had the biggest.
Yeah.
The biggest beef on all this is when they had. It was way too soon to have Undertaker coming out and doing this. I'm a bit. I don't really understand what's the point of doing this. They should have done this last year, not this year. I mean, it's kind of a little past due on doing this storyline, in my opinion. I mean, I think they could have had maybe an Undertaker Bray Wyatt #2 match, maybe, but I mean, Undertaker got his victory over Bray Wyatt, so that wouldn't have made much sense. But this whole Undertaker Brock Lesnar thing, I mean, I guess it might work out better than it did at WrestleMania 31 or 30, because Undertaker seems to be he moved pretty well in that ring tonight with Brock Lesnar, which wasn't doing the last time when they faced last year. So I mean, I have to say, it seems like he's a little bit better shape than he was before.
Yeah, I think he would feel good enough to come back to work a match at SummerSlam. I'm assuming it's going to be Taker and Brock at SummerSlam, and you know what? It's a money match, regardless of people who say I don't want to see this again. It's not the right use of it. It's a money match, and I mean you got to question like why is the Undertaker doing this? It's a heel move to interrupt this guy's match. I mean Brock getting over as a babyface at this point. Why is the Undertaker doing this? But you got to understand. I mean, even though Brock beat him fair and square and ended the streak, maybe the Undertaker shouldn't have a problem with that. But the fact that he couldn't keep his name out of his mouth through extension by Paul Heyman, who will not shut up about breaking the Taker streak, mentioning his name on TV even as recently as
Yeah.
Monday night. So I think then and there is your problem, and it would not stop. I mean, they would not shut up about the Undertaker, so he definitely has justification for coming back. And I'm guessing the result of this match, it should really be Brock Lesnar wins by disqualification, but they didn't announce any finish, so it could even be a no contest. I don't quite know.
This also leaves the WWE Championship match wide open for SummerSlam. Like, who the heck's going to face Seth Rollins at this point? I mean, I can't really think of anybody. Dean
Could
Ambrose,
Kane? How
but
about Kane?
who?
Kane?
Kane? Hell no! What the hell? What, in a retirement match? Is that what you're
I
saying?
don't know. I mean, he exploded on Kane on Raw Monday night when Kane's ankle was hurt by Brock Lesnar. There has to be some kind of reason for that. I mean, the rumor was Triple H and Seth Rollins at
Yeah.
SummerSlam. That was the rumor. How they get there from then until now, that I don't know. I don't know.
Well, maybe they might do something like have Triple H turn on Seth Rollins in the middle of a Monday Night Raw episode, but that's about it. Which would leave it would leave the Raw episode kind of interesting and intriguing to the audience. Might gain some ratings on it too.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I still would like to see Seth Rollins remain as the heel, in which case Triple H would have to, be the favorite. But that's kind of the way it's going. I mean, Steph McMahon got this whole Divas Revolution going. She came out.
Yeah.
She was the one backing the Bellas. Why nobody would get on the Bellas side, or would get on Paige's side rather, and then she's the one starting this revolution or keeping Paige, helping Paige out and bringing in these NXT divas. So it could be the same with Triple H as well. I really don't know, but they better have a good story with how they get there. And that's the entire show. Do you have any final thoughts?
Personally, overall, I think the show was pretty decent. I give it a 3 out of 5 stars, maybe a 3.5 out of 5 stars. There was a few things about it that they could have worked on that would have been a bit better, and made it even better in my opinion. I probably would have ranked it like a 4.5 out of 5 if they would have just fixed a few things about it. But overall, I really don't have too many complaints about it, just a few. But yeah, it was a pretty decent show, a lot better than some of the other shows they've had in the last couple of months.
All right, well, Bruce, thanks for being here. I don't really do the whole stars thing. I mean, I have seen better pay-per-views, but I can't say I wasn't entertained throughout the entire thing. There was like no match that had happened where I'm like, this match shouldn't be on here. They shouldn't be doing this. They had the surprises of The Undertaker. We knew he was going to be there. We didn't know what he was going to do and how they were going to do it. The thing with Luke Harper, I generally liked, and just a solid show, like a pay-per-view should be. But, me and Bruce had already talked about coming back doing the same thing for SummerSlam, so that's the plan at the moment.
All right, I'll see you at SummerSlam then.